Hi, everyone, and welcome to our weekly meeting. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amie Hornaman. I'm a nutrition and functional medicine thyroid expert, and basically I fix people. So today we are going to be talking about what do your labs mean? What are all these confusing numbers in front of you? Are you even getting all of the labs done? Are you being told that you're normal by your doctor and you know that you're not normal and that something is wrong, but you are so confused and you're reading this and you're reading that and you're looking at your labs and nothing's flagged high or flagged low? Well, we are going to work through all of that. We're focusing on thyroid labs today only because there's a lot to talk about in each category. And at the end, I will be giving you examples. So we'll be doing if this, then this, and one of those might be you. So stay tuned, get a pen, get a paper. I know that's old school. Get out your Google Drive, pull out your phone and open the notes section, and we will get down to it. So first of all, when we're talking labs, first we have to clarify that I will be talking from a functional perspective. And even amongst the functional medicine community, there's debate. There's debate amongst along the lines of what is optimal. Sometimes doctors will have a different optimal for TSH or reverse T3. So I will be telling you what I have found. I've been doing this for 24 years. What I have found works in terms of labs where my patients feel their best. So when we're talking normal versus optimal, when we're comparing the standard lab value range versus the functional medicine optimal range, I like to use the analogy of the side of a barn. So if I tell you to throw a ball and hit the side of a barn, you're probably going to hit it if you're standing back, let's say 100 feet, right? Probably going to hit it. That's normal. Now, if I put a target, a little bullseye on the side of the barn, and I say, here you go, hit this, you might not. It takes a lot more effort to get into that optimal range. But in that optimal range, that is where you are going to feel your best. So first we have to start off with you getting all of the labs that you need, step one. And by the way, if you do need a thorough list and you want these reference ranges as well, you can go to my website at amiehornaman.com. I have a lab and symptom checklist on there. And in that lab and symptom checklist, first you can see all the symptoms that you may or may not be having, and some that will surprise you are correlated to thyroid disease. And then you will have all of the different labs that I need you to get. And that's where you will start comparing. So it's a nifty, handy, dandy little free download that you can grab off my website if you're, let's say, driving in the car right now and you can't write anything down. So it's amiehornaman.com. Go to free guides, get the lab and symptom checklist. That will give you everything that you need. But today you're going to learn a lot more. And sometimes this information will stick even when you're looking at my lab and symptom checklist. I do go into detail and describe it, but hearing it again, hearing it here, then you'll look at that lab and symptom checklist and you'll look at your labs and it'll all just connect in your brain and you'll get it. And then you will be a better patient advocate for yourself. So to start, you need all the labs. You need TSH, free T3, free T4, reverse T3. T3 uptake is kind of cool to have, and then TPO and TJ antibodies. So we have to start there with complete, thorough testing. Now, let's say you go to your doctor and you say, Doc, I want all these labs done. They go, well, I don't do reverse T3. Why? Right? Everyone asks me why. Why won't a doctor order these labs? So the first answer is it could be insurance. Although I would argue that you as a consumer, as a patient, have the right to know, I won't order these labs because of your insurance, rather than, no, I don't do that. No, that's irrelevant. No, I don't order that. That's just a hard-nosed, big red flag. Time to leave your doc and go to another one. Big red flag for you. If it is insurance, I want to know it's insurance. And then I should be able to decide whether or not I want to pay out of pocket or go to Alta Labs and order my own, because maybe it's a lot cheaper than even if insurance doesn't cover it. I want to know that information. So that's a big one right there. Just to kind of start out, we know that doctors don't test thoroughly because of insurance, because of coding. They don't know what to put on there. And sometimes they don't even believe in what we as functional medicine practitioners believe in, such as reverse T3. So we'll get into what reverse T3 means, how it correlates, but many doctors don't find it applicable to your treatment. If it's not going to change your treatment, which I would order reverse T3 can change treatment plans and treatment protocols with medication. If it's not going to change your treatment, then why do it? That's the way of thinking. Now, again, I would argue that each and every lab that I just mentioned will change the course of your treatment if something is off, and we have to piece that all together. Okay, so let's start with the main one, TSH. If you go in and you say, hey doc, can I have a thyroid panel? And you don't specify the labs that you want, you're getting a TSH. You might get a free T4, and that's it. So TSH, again, we're going to talk about what can lower TSH too and give you a false low. But it is a brain hormone. It is released from the pituitary. It is not a thyroid hormone. It is called thyroid stimulating hormone. It is a brain hormone. And I like to use analogies. Those of you who have been listening for a while, I love to use analogies. So again, I don't get really nitty gritty biological scientific-y. That's a word. Is scientific-y a word? If not, it needs to be in Wikipedia. Anyways, I don't get all scientific-y, but I want you to kind of have a picture in your mind when I'm talking as to what different conditions or hormones or things in your body are doing. So with TSH, I like to use the analogy of a feeler, right? It's kind of like the brain is sensing, is there enough thyroid hormone in the body? Now we have a feedback loop, and we're not going to get into that because that's getting too deep. We have a lot to cover today. But the TSH, the brain's kind of feeling like, is there enough thyroid hormone here? Yes. Okay, then we can be quiet, and TSH goes down. TSH is the only lab value where high means low. So the higher that goes, then the more hypo you are becoming, the lower your thyroid function is. So high means low. So as TSH climbs, then you are becoming more and more hypo. Now, we can't go by TSH alone. So I want you to think of various things that could mask or lower your TSH even into an optimal range that could negatively impact your diagnosis, meaning you could go misdiagnosed. Because if your doctor's only looking at TSH and it's low because of, ready, blood pressure medications, metformin, if all y'all are on metformin can lower your TSH, and chronic inflammation, which many of you have. If you have hypothyroidism or if you have undiagnosed hypothyroidism, you're in a state of inflammation anyways. You're probably insulin resistant. You may or may not have been told that you're insulin resistant and put on metformin, and you probably are having some blood pressure problems too, and you're probably on a blood pressure medication. Now, there are some other medications that lower TSH as well, but just keep those things in mind that can impact the TSH value. So if you're looking to find out what the heck is wrong with you because you have all these symptoms and you're only getting TSH looked at, that's a huge problem because TSH can go down because of these other factors. It's also a problem if you're on medication and they're only dosing you based on your TSH. So you might be on a thyroid medication and metformin and you come in with a super low TSH and your doctor freaks out because he or she thinks that you're hyper. Like you're going into a hyperthyroid state, and that's not the case. Your TSH can go low because you're on thyroid medication. We'll get to that when we get the free T3 too. Your TSH can go low because you're on thyroid medication, be it T4 or T3. It does tend to push down a little bit lower on T3, but it can push down low and actually become suppressed on T4 medication. But also when you combine it with these other meds that push it down, you can get an abnormally low TSH that is just being pushed down. It doesn't mean that you're in a hyperthyroid state. Okay, so that's part one of TSH. Other things you have to remember is that with thyroid cancer, we want to keep you suppressed. We want to keep that TSH down. And by the way, optimal lab value, since you're all wondering, I go up to a 2. I like to see TSH below a 2. Now, will I accept 2.2, 2.5, 2.9? I've seen all those come in and the patient's doing well and their symptoms are improving and the free T3 is good and the reverse T3 is good and antibodies are dropping down, then fine. Yeah, I'll take a 2.2, 2.5. But in general, I like it below a 2. Post-thyroid cancer, I like it low. I like it suppressed, below a 1. And then we have to take into account if you are on thyroid medication. Low TSH does not mean hyper. I want you to take that home. I'll repeat that. Low TSH does not mean hyper. We have to look at your symptoms. What are your symptoms? So if you're above a 2 and you're suffering, we have to take all the other labs into account and we have to take your symptoms into account because that's going to give us the full picture. There's actually a point in time in treatment when we're optimizing you where TSH doesn't really even matter. Like, yeah, you can throw it in there as a reference point. Sometimes I like to see if someone's in a very, very hypo state, you know, if it's like a 5 or a 9, yeah, that's relevant. And we like to see it come down. But other than that, don't really care. Don't really care about it. Okay, moving on. T4. T4 is the storage hormone. So when we're talking T4, we're talking total T4, we're talking free T4. T4 is the storage thyroid hormone. So total, think about it as you're in the car. Free T4 is you're out of the car. So T4 in the car, it's driving. It's being transported. T4 out of the car, it's ready to be used. It's ready to go somewhere. It's ready to be changed. It's ready to be turned into T3. Rarely do I look at totals, whether it's total T4 or total T3. It's nice to peek at, but it's not imperative. So if I have a patient that has to order their own labs, let's say, I'm going to save you money and say, go ahead and leave out the totals. Let's just get the free because the free is what is available. So the free T4 is available to be changed and morphed into the active thyroid hormone, T3. T4, completely inactive. Inactive, totally inactive. It's storage only. You can't do anything with it except change it. Now, T4 can change into reverse T3 or free T3. We like it when it changes into free T3 because your receptor sites on your cell only have a little receptor site for T3. None of your cells have a receptor site for T4. They only have a receptor site for T3. So T4 has to go through this transformation process to turn into T3, to get into the cell, to give you metabolism, grow your hair and strengthen your nails and give you a happy mood and balance your life and reduce your anxiety and depression. So you can get the total T4, but it's not that important. What is important are the frees. So if you're looking at your labs and you're only seeing totals, no. You got to go back. You have to request free T4 and free T3. T3 is active. It's like a million times more active than T4. And because we only have receptor sites on our cells for T3, that's pretty much the most important test that you can get. And so often it's left out. So if I could pick one test on you, if you said, all right, I can only get one thyroid test done for whatever reason, what would it be? I'd say free T3. Let's look at your active thyroid hormone levels and see if they're adequate. Because if they're not, the rest doesn't really even matter at this point. Okay, so T3 is also very fast acting. So there's this battle of T3 therapy. Now listen, I listen to podcasts too. So I was listening to, I forget what podcast it was, but I probably shouldn't say anyways, where the doctor on there that was talking about the thyroid with another doctor, basically saying that too many practitioners rely on T3 medication to improve a patient's symptoms and improve a patient and improve the lab values, but they're not looking at all these other factors. Let me clarify, just in case you've heard that in the past. A functional practitioner that specializes in the thyroid, so I will speak for myself, will look at all those other factors. Of course, I will look at different things that are driving up your reverse T3 that we'll get to in a moment. So things like, are you killing yourself at the gym? Are you under a huge amount of physical stress or emotional stress and mental stress, money stress? Do you have chronic inflammation? Is your C-reactive protein high? Is your ferritin low? Are you estrogen dominant? Are you walking around with insulin resistance? Yeah, of course, we're going to look at all those things. We're going to fix all those things. We're going to fix your leaky gut. We're going to fix all that. But the last thing I want to do, if you are low in T3, is leave you hanging with battling symptoms for 6 months to a year as we fix all these other outliers, when we could get right to the problem, give you the medication that's going to get to your cell, that's going to give you metabolism, that's going to grow your hair, that's going to strengthen your nails, even if it's in a little bit of low amount. And then we look at all these other factors out here that are driving your metabolism down, that it's driving your inflammation up, and that's down regulating your thyroid function, maybe pushing your free T3 below an optimal level, pushing your free T4 below an optimal level, driving up your reverse T3, driving up your antibodies, driving up your TSH, if we're looking at that and taking that into account. So there is kind of this battle about T3 therapy. I'm a believer in it. I've seen it change many lives. It's changed my life. I think using T3 medication in the form of NDT or paired up with T4 is definitely the way I go with my patients when they are T3 deficient, because T3 is the active thyroid hormone. So for optimal lab values, by the way, free T4 in general, 1.5 or above. In general, free T3 is 3.5 or above. So that's just an in general range. Now we have to take into account each individual, and that's why I'll give you examples at the very end. We'll do some like case scenarios on this, because there are some times where you have to look at the person, you have to look at their symptoms, you have to look at all the other values like TSH, free T3, free T4, all of those other things that come into play when we're looking at the big picture. So we have to look at all that. But in general, 3.5 or above for free T3 is going to be your optimal range. Now, T3 uptake, it's a better indicator than thyroid binding globulin, than TBG. 28 to 38 is optimal. And basically, T3 uptake is telling us how much room there is on the escort molecules to put more thyroid hormone into the cell. If it's low, there's no room for more thyroid hormone. Maybe too much thyroid medication. Maybe if it's high, it means there's plenty of room for thyroid hormone to be transported in. In general, we like a 28 to 38 for T3 uptake. That's kind of a bonus test to get. You don't always have to get that one to get the full picture, but we can add that on as a bonus. Like, hey, kind of nice to see it all. Yeah. Reverse T3 is the biggie. And I actually did a separate recording that you can listen to just on reverse T3, because I know so many people are confused about this particular lab marker. And many practitioners debate the importance of this lab marker. Reverse T3 is a survival mechanism of your body. When reverse T3 goes up, it can go up for a variety of reasons. One of them might be that you have too much T4 medication, and that T4 is converting to reverse T3 instead of to free T3. And it can also be a variety of other things that are driving it up. So first, let's talk about it. Reverse T3 survival mechanism. If you land in the ICU and you have inflammation and injury, trauma and infection, your reverse T3 can go up, because what it's doing is shutting down your it's slowing down the metabolism. It senses cell danger. It's a cell danger response. So your body will drive up reverse T3 to slow everything down, because the last thing that you need is a metabolism when you're trying to heal. When your body's trying to heal an injury, heal an infection. You don't need to be burning fat. You don't need to be growing your hair. You don't need that. So it's going to down regulate. So that's a basic survival response. So we do see reverse T3 go up in people with chronic inflammation. High C-reactive protein will drive reverse T3 up. But the conversion process of T4 to free T3, preferably, or T4 to reverse T3, whichever it decides to do, is like a marathon with hurdles. So there's so many things that can get in the way in that journey from T4 to T3. And if the little T4 guy is running and he hits a hurdle and falls on his face and becomes reverse T3, well, no wonder, because there's a bunch of hurdles along this marathon path. You know how bad that would suck to run 26 miles with marathons? I can't run a mile, or with hurdles. I can't run a mile. This is a marathon with hurdles, right? So your little free T3 guys or free T4 guys he's running and he trips and falls. Whether it's because you have too much insulin, you have too much estrogen, you have not enough ferritin, you don't have enough magnesium, zinc, or selenium, you have too much selenium, you have too much iodine, not enough iodine, too much stress in your life, high cortisol, stress, low cortisol, adrenal exhaustion. So many things can get in the way. So you can see why it's very important to test reverse T3, because we can adjust your medication based on it. It's also going to tell us kind of what else to look at with you, because here's the other things that can raise reverse T3. Insulin resistance. So high insulin. How many of you have insulin resistance, right? We see it go hand in hand with hypothyroidism. We see insulin resistance paired up with hypo and Hashi all the time. So you're walking around with Hashimoto's, undiagnosed, diagnosed, medicated, not medicated, and you have high insulin, you're going to have a high reverse T3. That's going to impair T4 to T3 conversion, and it's going to affect how you feel, your symptoms, and your metabolism, for sure. Absolutely for sure. Physical stress, emotional stress, and even physical stress from kicking your own ass at the gym day after day. You're in this cycle of, well, I'm not losing any weight, and I have this thyroid problem, and I'm not losing any weight, and I'm doing the diet, and I'm not losing any weight, and I'm not losing any weight, so I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to kill myself for an hour and a half, 2 hours every day. I'm going to get on the treadmill, I'm going to get on the stepper, I'm going to get on the elliptical, I'm going to be like a rat on a wheel, or what is a hamster on a wheel, hamster wheel, something like that. And that creates a stress on the body, and your body's going to freak out and raise your reverse T3, and that's going to work completely against you. Not to mention, it's also going to raise your cortisol levels, which is going to work against you. So emotional stress, physical stress. Toxins. We talk all the time about toxins, environmental toxins being endocrine disruptors. And one of the things that it does, not only do toxins push down free T3, but they're going to raise reverse T3. So that's a cause. Poor quality supplements. How many times have we gone over this? I am a supplement brand snob. You do not buy your supplements on Amazon. You don't buy them from Walmart. You don't buy them from Costco. You don't buy them from Sam's Club. You don't even really buy them from GNC or the local Vitamin World. You have to buy high quality supplements. You have to, because poor quality supplements can actually inflame and do more harm than good. So I always say this, and I'm going to repeat it. I would rather have you be on 3 good quality therapeutic supplements that are going to nurture you and move numbers than on 10 that you saw on a blog post because they're good for thyroid disease, but you bought them like you're using cheapy stuff from Amazon and Sam's Club. Not to put down Sam's Club, but in general, you want to have high quality supplements. Poor quality supplements will drive up reverse T3 because it's going to drive up inflammation in your body. So that's a biggie. What you eat, not eating enough, processed foods, all of that going to drive up reverse T3. Latent infections, EBV, Lyme disease, HPV, that's going to drive up inflammation, and that's going to drive up your reverse T3 as well. The cell wants to slow the metabolism when you are in that cell danger response. So remember that. Whenever you're not getting enough sleep, you're not doing deep breathing, you're not taking time for yourself, you're not balancing your exercise, you're putting in processed foods, you have a latent EBV, you have Lyme disease, you didn't even know it. Many people don't know they have Epstein-Barr virus, but that's a big driver of Hashimoto's, but it's also going to drive up reverse T3. You're in this constant inflamed condition, that's going to drive up reverse T3. You're in high insulin mode all the time. You're in estrogen dominance and you don't even know it. You haven't had your hormones tested in forever. That's going to drive up reverse T3. So there are many factors that will drive that up independent of conversion issues, but all those factors will also drive it up, and then you're going to have conversion issues. Reverse T3 is a very important test to get. Do not let your doctor tell you, we only do that in the ICU. Well, that's a no-brainer. If we do it in the ICU, guess what? I'm placing my bet on it being high because it's going to be. Why else would you be in the ICU? Let's do it on a healthy, air quotes, healthy person that we're trying to regulate and optimize their thyroid, and they're taking T4 medication, or they have Hashimoto's and their thyroid slowly being destroyed, and their body's not making enough T4 anymore, but the T4 that it is making is converting over to reverse T3. That's important information to know. We have to know that. Do not let your doctor say no to testing reverse T3, or go get it yourself. Go to Ulta Labs, get it yourself. Maybe $34. I might be remembering that wrong, but it's relatively inexpensive. And it's a need to know test. All right, here's the biggies. And I really feel compelled to talk about these because I can't even tell you the amount of patients that I have seen that have high TPO and TGA and are told nothing. So we're talking antibodies here. Thyroperoxidase, thyroglobulin, TPO, TGA. Sometimes it's called TGAB. So high antibodies, they're told nothing. They're ignored. And we have talked about that in the 5 stages of Hashimoto's. You can always go back. There's a podcast on that. I want you to subscribe to my podcast anyway. So subscribe so you can go back through and watch that one. Listen to that one. 5 stages of Hashimoto's, where people can have high antibodies and the doctors are saying, we're just going to wait and see. We're going to wait until you're 30 pounds heavier and you can't get out of bed because you're so tired. Then we're going to pay attention to you. So a rash of that happening. And then there's this trend happening with not testing the other antibody. So I'll see TGA without TPO. I'll see TPO without TGA. I don't know why. I can't tell you why on that one. I could tell you why in the beginning because of insurance, and then doctors not knowing how to read it, and then the coding and all that. I don't know. Why would you only order one? If there's a doctor out there, if one of you guys listening knows the answer to that one, please let me know. So thyroperoxidase, TPO. This is the most common test for autoimmune thyroid disease. It's detected in Graves. It is detected in Hashimoto's. It can be detected in Graves. So we do that in Graves patients as well, because there's a swing, Hashi to Graves. And then thyroglobulin is the antibody that TGA is the antibody that targets thyroglobulin, which is the storage form of thyroid hormone. So anti-TPO antibodies are more common. Maybe that's why I'll see more TPO tests and not TGA. I don't know. I still can't come up with the answer to that. So TPO, more common, more indicative for thyroid disease, Hashimoto's. TPO antibodies are inductors of oxidative stress. So we'll see advanced glycation end products. We'll see an increase of ages. We'll see ROS, reactive oxygen species. So indicators for inflammation we will see with high levels of TPO. However, with TPO, their contribution to thyroid damage compared to T cell and cytokine mediated apoptosis is minor. So anti-TPO antibodies are detected in 90 to 95% of Hashimoto patients. That's the TPO. And then the production of antibodies against TG, which is the TGAB, can be induced by massive destruction of the thyroid gland. So we really need both to get an accurate picture, and optimal for that. So did I talk about optimal for reverse T3? I apologize. That might've been in the other recording that you're going to get this week just on reverse. Let me back up. Reverse T3, if you're taking notes, you're in your Google Drive, you're in your phone taking notes. Reverse, we like it below a 15 if everything else is beautiful and perfect. So if your free T3 is great, your symptoms are down, I will totally accept a reverse T3 of 14, 15. If your symptoms are flaring, your free T3 is like a 2.7, then I really want that reverse to be below a 12. And this is debated too. This is debated. I have heard some functional practitioners say they're okay with it going up to an 18. Well, I'm sorry, an 18, you're having conversion issues, or there's something going on, or you're inflamed, or you're under stress, or something is going on that we really need to take a look at here. So that's reverse. Now I'll get back to the antibodies. Antibodies, both of them can change based on the lab that you're using. Sometimes it's below a 9, sometimes it's below a 20 as normal. But I say any presence of antibodies is your body saying, hi, hello, there's some autoimmune present, and this could very easily move into Hashi. If you're below that range, let's say the range is less than 9 and you're coming in at a 1 or a 2, maybe we just look at it. Maybe we do just keep an eye on it, as long as you're not gaining weight rapidly and tired all the time, you can't get out of bed. It's all individual. But basically, in a nutshell, I'm talking in a nutshell here. If you're coming in with low antibodies, but they're still present, maybe we just keep an eye on it. But listen, if you're coming in with antibodies, just talk to someone today. Never told that she has Hashimoto's. I forget the exact numbers, but one was like 200 and something, and then the other one was like 80 or 90 something. And I said, did anybody tell you you have Hashimoto's? Because you do. And that's not me diagnosing. That's you going to Google and typing in, if this is high and that is high, do I have Hashimoto? They're through the roof. And people aren't even getting told that they have this condition, or they're being told we're just going to watch it, wait and see. Oh, you have the antibodies, but since they're not in the thousands, we're just going to watch this, keep an eye on it, while the patient suffers from symptoms. It's not cool in my book. It is not proper treatment of a patient in my book. You have to look at both of them, and I want those at 0. And the reason why we retest, because many practitioners will say, oh, there's no need to retest those antibodies. Yeah, there is, because if they keep going up, then that's something that we have to address. That's something you and I have to sit down and say, all right, what the heck's going on here? Are you eating a loaf of bread every day? Are you under a ton of stress? Are you killing your body? Is your ferritin low? Like, what is going on here? That's why we retest. I also want to see them go down. So in proper treatment, ultimately, I would like to see those go down. And Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition that can be put into remission. So we can actually get those antibodies to 0. Not everybody, but it is absolutely possible. So that's why we want to retest the antibodies as well. And we ultimately want them as low as possible, preferably 0, but as low as possible. Low. The other reason why we want to look at them over time is if they are high, we want to look at things like Epstein-Barr virus, Lyme disease. We want to kind of reel that in, because since autoimmune begets autoimmune, we want to make sure that that's not going to, when antibodies increase, there's concern that it will go into other autoimmune conditions. So that is a valid concern. And that's why we retest them. So let me get to a couple examples. I'm going to I have one written down. I'm going to try to do a couple from memory. So let's say you have a low TSH. I'll try to give you numbers. Let's say we go low TSH, 0.5. You have a high reverse T3. You have a low free T4. No metabolism, brain fog, on T4 meds. What does that mean? First of all, the person needs the free T3 done. We need free T3 right off the bat. If that reverse T3 is high, we have to find the source of it. Is it inflammation? Is it high insulin? Is it physical stress? Is it mental stress? Is it EBV? Is it Lyme? We have to test for that. And then that low free T4 kind of makes us pause. So this is where we go, all right, this patient is suffering with symptoms, low free T4, but high reverse T3, but the low TSH. Now remember, low TSH can go down when you're on any medication. I have seen T4 only patients push their TSH down. I have seen it. And even to like the super physiological low, like I am at like 0.007. I have seen it go low on T4 only meds. It's rare, but I've seen it happen. So then if a patient has low free T4, we have to say, well, the missing component here really is free T3. I mean, we have to check the antibodies too, but we really need that number. You cannot get a picture of what is going on with this patient without that free T3 number. Now, let's say free T3, so hypothetical. Free T3 comes in, we do it. It comes in the normal range, but the patient's 2.7. Okay, obviously this patient has a conversion problem. The T4 is low and it's being converted to reverse T3. The reverse T3 is high. We're checking all the boxes there. And T3 is low as well. This person needs T3 medication. Like I said earlier, there's that great debate. Do we really need to put in T3 medication? Yes. Yes, we do. Because that's going to bring up the free T3. It's going to reduce this poor person's symptoms with no metabolism and constant brain fog. And it's going to lower the reverse T3. Now, we might even lower her her T4 med. We might. But let's add in the T3 first. Let's support all systems. Let's check the ferritin. Let's check insulin. Let's check estrogen. Let's check all the sex hormones. Let's check magnesium, selenium, iodine, zinc. Let's check all the factors that come into play. Support the thyroid as much as possible. And add in that little bit of T3 med. Let's add that in. Okay, another scenario. Low TSH. Let's go really low. 0.007. Low free T4, like actually an L. Like, you know, you get an H or an L next to your lab values. This one actually has an L, like it's flagged. Oh my gosh, it's low. So it's flat and it's red. So low free T4, a high free T3, although we'll say, you know, high for the labs. Again, it's flagged with an H. It's all red. It's like a 5 or a 4.9. And then a low reverse T3. That's me. Now, if I hand you those labs and you're a conventional doc, you're going to freak out. You are going to freak the heck out. And you are going to think that I am hyper, right? If I just present you with the labs only, you are going to look at it and go, this person is hyper. We need to drop her dose. Now, take into account that I'm on T3 only. Of course, my T4 is going to be low. Of course, my TSH is going to be suppressed. It's been like 17 years. My free T3 is high, but that's my optimal. So ask me as a patient what my symptoms are. And if I tell you, like, I feel pretty damn good. I'm not anxious. My sleep is fine. I don't feel like I'm crawling out of my skin. I'm not losing weight. Like, I just stay pretty stable. It's not like I'm rapidly losing weight from this super high metabolism from being hyper. I don't have heart palpitations. My heart rate's normal. My blood pressure is normal. Everything's pretty good. You have to look at the person. You have to ask about their symptoms. You are more than a lab value. If I hand my labs over to a conventional doc, I am going to get screwed because they are going to drop my T3 medication. I'm going to drop into a hypo state. Or they're going to add in T4 medication and it's going to send me into a hypo state because I don't convert at all. I'm T3 only. I don't convert. Perfect examples of why, A, we need all of the testing done. If you go by a smidgen, if you go by this teeny little snapshot, TSH, free T4, even TSH, free T4, reverse T3, but no free T3, not enough to go by. If you look at a patient's labs only and don't take into account their symptoms, not enough to go by. You could be misdiagnosed, under-medicated. You could have your meds pulled. It's a bad situation when you don't get all of the labs done and you are not being looked at as a person with feelings and symptoms. And how do you feel on a daily basis? That's very important to know and to take into account. So get the labs, go to my website, amiehornaman.com, go to free guides, download the lab and symptom checklist. That way you have everything that we just talked about right in front of you. But I really wanted you guys to know and understand, even if this is the 5th time that you've been hearing this, to understand so it clicks in your brain as to what these labs mean. Now, my amazing sauce moderators on the Attuned Thyroid that's on Jan, Donna, you guys know this like the back of your hand. But for everybody else, sometimes hearing it over and over again, doesn't it takes like 7 times of seeing or hearing something for it to stick? Isn't that right? So hearing this over and over again, maybe hearing it in a different way, maybe I say it in a different way, maybe you hear it from me and then hear it from somebody else, and then it just kind of clicks. Hearing it in a different way just helps you to be a better patient advocate for yourself. Because when you understand what your labs mean and you understand how this all fits together, and then you take into account your own symptoms too. Like you're looking at your labs and you're going, but I'm not hyper, but my T3 is high. My TSH is low, but I'm not hyper. Or you're looking at it going, well, my TSH is a 3. Or I'm sorry, my free T3 is a 3. My TSH is a 2.5. Boy, I feel like crap. I keep gaining weight and I'm tired all the time. Well, then that's important, because even though you're smidgen close to being optimal in your free T3, you as a person are suffering from symptoms. Your TSH is above a 2. We have to take that into account, into consideration, and base a treatment protocol around that. Do some more digging, yes, of course, but base a treatment protocol around how you feel, not just the numbers. So I hope that this has helped you. Please share it. Make sure you go to my podcast, subscribe. You can find the Thyroid Fix podcast on everywhere you find podcasts: Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It used to be called iTunes, but I guess I'm old, so now it's called Apple Podcasts. Anywhere that you have podcasts, please subscribe. And if you dig the information, write me a review, because they love that. Reviews help so much. So it would be like a personal favor to me. And I'll read your review on the podcast. So how cool is that? All right. Thank you very much for listening. Let's get to your questions. I'm going to the top. Okay. Elaine, I remember you said it's like a lane. So Elaine, hi. I'm so happy you're listening from Australia. And I know it is like the butt crack of dawn over there. So you are a rock star for jumping on here. And I hope that this helped you just to understand your labs a little bit more. Because I know you have some labs. I think you're getting some more too. So we're going to talk after that. But you're kind of stuck with Australia and the lockdown and crossing into the other, whatever you guys call it here, states, but provinces, areas. Yeah, I need to learn more about Australia. I need to come see it in Australia. Caitlin, it's as simple as a click of a button on the computer to order these labs. If I can order it online and pay out of pocket, a doctor can easily go on the computer and order it for me. They're supposed to work for us. Caitlin, you're right. So with the doctor, though, when you go to Ulta and you're, clicking add to cart and you're paying out of pocket for it, it's not going through insurance. The doctor's issues are, so you bring up a good point. I'm going to speak on this. The issue with the doctors are sometimes they'll say, well, your insurance isn't going to cover that. Well, if you put the right diagnostic codes, then insurance probably will cover it. So when you go into your doctor to ask for these, go in with a bulleted list of symptoms. So they have something to go by. There's your diagnostic codes. There's your CPT codes or whatever the heck they need to order lab tests. There they are right in front of them. Hey, I can't lose weight. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. My hair's falling out. I'm fatigued all day. I could take a nap at 2. And then I have insomnia and my nails are breaking, whatever it may be. Go in with that bulleted list of symptoms so that they have something to go by for a diagnostic code. Now, some doctors will say, I just heard this today too, if the TSH comes back in normal range, so they start with TSH. If the TSH comes back in normal range, then we don't order the rest of the tests. Okay, so you're a doctor and you have a patient, and that patient is coming to you with problems and symptoms, and you want to find the answers, but you're not going to test thoroughly to find the answers. We're just going to do this 180-bitty test, and then we'll do another test if that comes back. What? How does that even make sense? I want the full picture right in front of me. When I'm working with a patient, I give a wish list, right? Here's all the labs that I would love to see. Listen, I understand if a couple of them are expensive and you can't get them, or insurance legitimately won't cover them, even with the proper diagnostic codes. But still, I want to see it all. I don't want to piecemeal. I don't want to just, okay, let's do TSH today. And then when that comes back in a week, oh yeah, I guess we'll order a free T3 and free T4 since your TSH is high. No, I want it all. We have to piece the puzzle together. I want it all. So Caitlin, you're right. Thank you for pointing that out. That kind of led me on a little tangent there. They are supposed to work for you, and the good ones will. The good ones will. Mona, you're in Norway. You're awesome. I don't know what time it is in Norway, but I always see you on here, and you're a rock star too. Donna, you're at the beach. I'm always jealous. I'm just always jealous. What kind of weather are you having now? Are you getting like a little bit cooler, like into the fall, like fall and the beach and like the leaves and like a nice little breeze where you're not sweating your butt off? That's like perfect for me. So I bet you it's getting a little bit cooler in your area too, because I think you're kind of same like climate. I think you're near me, same climate. Jan, they don't know how to fix high antibodies, so it's a non-issue. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, they don't order the in response to the antibodies. Why they don't reorder them? They don't know what to do with them. We know what to do with them, but they don't know what to do with them. So, and they certainly don't want to see them go up, and then have the patient say, "Why did my antibodies go up?" And then they go, I don't know. Remember your doctors too when it comes to nutrition, what you're putting in your body, supplementation, food, big impact. Right? Your doctors have had, your conventional doctor has had maybe an hour or so of nutrition training. And they will tell you that. This is not me like putting down med schools. They will flat out tell you, hey, this is the case. Should they have more? Yes. And many doctors do believe that they should have more training. And that's why either they refer out or they go back and learn. I mean, there are great doctors out there that have gone to additional training, continuing education to learn more about the thyroid than what they got taught in school. Here, TSH comes back high, put them on Levo, closed book. They go back and learn more about the thyroid and learn more about the different medications that are out there for it and what all the tests mean. So a good doctor will dive in and learn. But for the most part, you're right, Jan. They don't know how to fix high antibodies. I don't even know if they know what to do with a high reverse T3. Jan, you're also saying my TSH went low on T4 meds. Yeah, I've seen that a couple times, like just on T4 only. I've seen that a couple times. And it's very rare to see it go really low, like the 0.0 something, 0.00 something on T4 only, but it absolutely does happen. Alicia, hearing it works better for me than reading it. Your examples really help drill the point home. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm the same way as you. I would rather listen all day long than read. So if I can do, audible books on tape, I will do that. Podcasts, I'm all about it. That's how I learn much. You see, I don't even have a blog. I don't have a blog. People tell me I need a blog. I have a vlog. I'd rather sit here and tell you and speak it out and give you stories and give you analogy. You know how long it would take me to write all this down? Be here forever. Anyways, I'm right there with you. Donna, you said it matters immensely where free T3, free T4, reverse T3 levels are together. Absolutely. You have to have the whole picture. You have to have the whole picture. Without it, it's like, I'm trying to think of a analogy on the cuff here, right? I mean, it's a stupid analogy, but a puzzle, right? I guess a puzzle. If you're missing a piece of the puzzle is not going to be complete. You're not going to see the picture that's in the puzzle if you're missing a big old piece out of it, or if you're missing 2 or 3 pieces out of it. I'm sure there's a better analogy I can think of, but that's what comes to mind right now. So yeah, absolutely. You have to have all of it. You have to have the whole kit and caboodle. Elaine, question on the value of T4 therapy taken in conjunction with T3 therapy. If T3 is the active hormone, why do we need the T4 at all? Or does T4 have its own virtues? Is it doing something that T3 can't do? Okay, so that's a really good question, by the way. Really good question. Standard of care is to provide T4 because T4 will convert. I know I make it seem like it's this big, hard, ugly thing, like the marathon race with hurdles. But some people, very few, some will do well on T4 only therapy. Most of the time we have to skip the middleman and at least incorporate in a little bit of T3 to really optimize the patient. There's nothing wrong with being on T4 and T3 therapy. Most people are. There are the few people that are T3 only. Myself, Rory. I know there's a couple others. Jessica, I forget whether you are or not. I don't think so. But I'm finding a couple patients kind of moving in that direction too, just based on their reaction to T4 medication. When we add it in and we try different types and brands and doses, and they just don't do well on it, then that guides us into T3 only therapy. But for the most part, Elaine, T4 medication is a decent medication when paired with T3. So we do still, in general, try to use that as our first line, not necessarily T4 only therapy, because that's conventional medicine, old school, but T4 and T3, whether it be NDT or the synthetics paired together, we use that as our first line because T3 is very fast acting. So it's kind of like you have the tortoise and the hare together. T4 is slow acting. It's kind of just doing its thing in the background. It's like the tortoise, just kind of chugging along. And, some of it will convert over, and then you'll get this trickle effect of T3. Yeah, absolutely. And then you have T3 that's the hare. It's like, boom, in, out, hitting the metabolism, out of the system, hitting the metabolism, out of the system. So it's very fast acting. So it's kind of nice to have that combination of T4 and T3. But hey, if you're a T3 only candidate, then you just are. Then you're T3 only, and the T4 doesn't work for you. Hopefully that answered your question. Let me see. Okay, there, Bonnie. What is an optimal AM cortisol level? Depends on the lab and depends whether you're doing saliva or blood. And I prefer saliva. I prefer a 4-point salivary cortisol panel where we are testing your cortisol through the day at 4 different points in the same day, because cortisol has a curve, like a half of a bell curve. It starts high in the morning and goes down throughout the day. So we don't want to just test one point. And let's say in the morning, Bonnie, let's say you're low cortisol. Well, the question is, are you a reverse curve where you're shooting up at night and then you're having high cortisol levels at night? Or are you flatlined, like you were just low cortisol? There's different treatment protocols for that. And then again, if you're high in the morning, and Bonnie, this is probably you because of high morning cortisol, because of the cortisol awakening response, which pushes up blood sugar. So you're getting high blood sugar readings in the morning, high cortisol in the morning, but then all of a sudden, maybe you fall into that perfect pattern through the rest of the day. Well, if you're type 1 or type 2 diabetic and we're working on that, then I'm not really concerned about one little point of cortisol being high in the morning, taking into account high blood glucose. So to answer your question, we need to get a 4-point salivary cortisol panel on you, not just a morning cortisol, to really get the picture of what your cortisol is doing. Vicky, I'm in the UK. This is so helpful. Well, thank you, Vicky. I'm glad that you were able to jump on. Jan, you said maybe it was 0.02. Okay, you're a TSH, yeah. I mean, I see it. I do. I see it get pushed down with T4 only therapy. I really do. Sarah, hi, Dr. Amie. Thanks all you do to help us. Where's a good place to buy high quality supplements? Okay, so there is, Sarah, I don't know if you're a member of the Attuned Thyroid group, but in the Attuned Thyroid group, under the files, there's actually a supplement list for Hashimoto patients that I did up. I could probably add to that. I probably need to revamp it a little bit. But in general, so I talk about this all the time. I am a fan of Design Through Health products. Here is why. I'm not trying to push one line, but here's why. They are family owned and operated. Everything is made in the USA. They have a physician on staff. So if you actually had a patient call, she called the company before she even asked me. She called about a particular supplement having, whether or not it had cellulose in it, I think. Before ordering it, because she reacts to that. So she's able to call the company. I've had people have like some bizarre reactions that I never heard of. And there's a physician on staff that will actually, they're so knowledgeable about their products that they will tell you to a T. Like, nope, this one's not for you then because of this and this and this. It's just amazing. It's amazing to me. And they do podcasts, they do seminars, they do posts. So you can even go to their website and see the different like articles and whatnot they do. They're so science-based and they haven't sold out. So there's the big one. I'm sorry. Pure encapsulations, you sold out. Metagenics, you sold out. Douglas Labs, you sold out too. Raw Garden of Life, you sold out. There's no way. I don't care if you work for them. There is no way that Nestle can buy a company and keep its quality, because there's a bottom line. There's a bottom dollar that a big corporation has to make. And they're going to cut costs somewhere. And it's going to be in the quality or in the fillers or whatever in the product. So, Sarah, I'm putting the link to pro.com. And then what you want to do, let me see if I can, no, it keeps putting the 0 in. I'm going to return here. So I'm going to put that in the chat for you, Sarah. I'm going to post the link, and then I'll say use code. If you use first 20 now for 20% off. So you can use the code first 20 now for 20% off Designed for Health products with that link that I posted. Okay, so that should help you, Sarah. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Mary, does Lexapro, SSRI, antidepressant affect taking T3 along with T4? No, yes, no, yes. So you don't want to take it close together. So with that, you really want to leave 4 hours in between, especially T4, because that's very sensitive. You want to leave 4 hours in between. And then that being said, too, I have, I'm going to have to do some digging for you, Mary. I want to say I have come across, and maybe some of you listening will know, maybe Donna, you'll know. I thought I came across an article that had some kind of correlation with SSRIs, not necessarily affecting the absorption of T3, but maybe doing something to TSH levels. I'm not positive. I'll have to get back to you on that, Mary. Donna, your videos are brilliant. They really make it easier for thyroid patients to understand. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. Thank you. I really appreciate that, especially coming from you guys, you in particular, and all the Attune Thyroid admins, because you guys know your stuff. You know your stuff. That's why I send people your way. And I keep telling people, you got to narrow down. See, here's my tangent again. You have to narrow down who you listen to and where you get your information. So what I respect, I keep mentioning the Attune Thyroid. It's a thyroid group, Facebook thyroid group. And what I so respect from them, with them, all the admins are knowledgeable, and they will only allow real information in. So many of my patients are in so many different groups, and they just get conflicting non-scientific information. And again, it's like, well, my brother's wife's uncle's sister saw it on Dr. Oz and said it was good for thyroid. Well, no, you can't do that. So thank you. I very much respect all of you guys' knowledge base. It's way up here. Mary, you're saying I shake all the time with Lexapro and T4 and small amount of T3. Without knowing your whole situation and health and all that, it's hard to say. You need your numbers. You need T3, you need T4, you need reverse. Could it be? It could be the Lexapro. Have you tried anything else? Maybe it's the dose. Maybe you're sensitive to T3 and you have to go up more slowly, like start at a lower dose and gradually titrate up. That one, Mary, can't answer you because there's so many factors that could be coming into play. Donna, how much T4? What is your reverse T3 level? Oh, I think you're answering. Yeah, you're answering Mary, right? So that's what we need. We need T4 and T3 with her and reverse T3. We just do in order to get that full picture. Okay, wait, Cameo, I saw you up here. Sorry, came in late. That's quite all right. You know that you can. Did you do something different with your hair? I love it. Well, thank you. I just got it done last Thursday. So the red is still kind of new and it hasn't washed out yet. That's what it is. But thank you. I love you. Thank you. Okay. Elaine, thank you, Amie, for your shiny light brightness. Every week you give me something new to aim for. Ha! Now you're punning like I am. I love it. Thank you, Elaine. Mary, T4 is 37.5. Oh, your dose of T4 is 37.5. 2.5 of Cytomel reverse T3. Woo, girl. Your reverse T3 is way too high. If you missed some of this, you need to go back and watch it. And then there's going to be a separate video out this week about reverse T3 only, so you can kind of narrow your focus. Miss Mary, what's your free T3 level? What's your free T4 level? What's your TSH? Are you insulin resistant? You need fasting insulin. You need CMP to test your glucose. We need a hemoglobin A1C. We need zinc, mag, selenium, iodine, a full iron panel, including ferritin. Would love to see your sex hormones too, because those can affect mood. Vitamin D level, that can affect mood as well. Because 2.5 of Cytomel shouldn't make you shaky. It's very, 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 very incredibly, very rare that dose would make somebody shaky. So it's something else, and you definitely have a conversion issue too. So maybe if I scroll down, you've posted. Let me see here. Yeah, Donna, you're saying, please clarify how much T4 are you on, 137 or 37? Reverse T3 is 25 is way too high. Yep. And Emma, you're saying, can you talk about optimal labs for testosterone in women? Sure. So wait, let me go back. Donna, you said reverse T3 level is best at the bottom of the range. Yeah. What is your reverse T3 reference range? Donna, I think all the reverse T3 reference ranges are pretty much the same. That one seems to be the same across the board, unless they are in like another country, and then it can vary. But I'm with you. 25 is a huge, huge red flag. Okay. So Emma, testosterone in women. Greatly debated. Another debate. I like women around 40. Some practitioners like women even like 20 to 30. I think that's a little bit too low. Some practitioners even go 50 to 60. That may be pushing a little bit depending on the woman. It just depends. So if you have, let's say, a woman in her 30s or 40s and you're pushing her up into 50, 60 range, we have to check progesterone and estrogen. I would want to make sure that she's not getting any side effects if she's doing like testosterone therapy, not retaining water, not getting acne, all that. Very, very rare. But if we are doing like, let's say, a compounded testosterone cream to raise a woman's testosterone levels because they were low, then, we want to make sure that if she does hit 50 and 60, that she's okay, that there's, low symptoms. Sorry, my dog's coming over here. He's not feeling too good today. He's going to the vet soon. He's been a trooper though, but he's coming over for love and attention right now. So I would say, yeah, I really like women right around the 40 mark in general. DHT, obviously we want low. Because DHT is dihydrotestosterone. That's what makes you lose your hair in both men and women. So we want DHT low. So that's the whole puzzle, Emma, is when you're talking about a thyroid patient that might be experiencing hair loss and thinning of hair, but she's has a low libido and can't lose weight and can't put on muscle. Yeah, we want the testosterone up because that's going to actually kind of correlate and help her body lose weight and gain muscle and have a libido, but we don't want to push her into high DHT where she's losing her hair. Grace, you're on my list to call. Girl, I've been back to back and now I got a sick dog and I'll probably be calling you either tonight, like in an hour, or tomorrow. I promise. Do you know why zinc would cause major brain fog? Well, zinc is very imperative for T4 to T3 conversion as well as for hair. So are you talking about low zinc levels? So if you're low in zinc, that could exacerbate your thyroid condition. It can lower your immune system. It can impair T4 to T3 conversion, which then, of course, inadvertently would cause brain fog. All right, Mary, you're answering TSH 3.87, T4 1.45, T3 free is 2.8. So see, Mary, your free T3 is still kind of low. Your reverse T3 is through the roof. Your TSH is still not optimal. You're still in a hypo state. So you could actually be getting the shakes from being hypo. But like Donna said, you need to clarify whether or not you're on 137 or 37. Either way, you need to increase the T3 med and you're on 37. So that's still kind of low for T4, but regardless, you need to get up the free T3 and do it very nice and slowly. I don't believe that that's what is making you jittery. I really don't. All right, back to Emma. Yours is 50. I'm 23. That's beautiful, girl. I mean, listen, how do you feel? I mean, you have a libido, you gain, and then if you do have a good testosterone level, right? And you're at a great age, and you're not losing your hair and you're keeping your weight stable and all that, then fine. If your testosterone is 50, but you're still suffering from symptoms, then we have to look at other factors too, not just testosterone. Miss Vicky, my free T3 was 6.3. TSH was 3.5. Free T4 was 13. I'm waiting on my reverse. So Vicky, you're in the UK. You have different ranges. So I guess when I'm talking optimal, I should say free T3, we want mid to upper range. Reverse T3, we want low, like below mid to low. So your TSH, I think your TSH might be the same, but you might have a slight, I have patients in the UK, I'm trying to think of their labs. You might have a slightly skewed TSH, like it might go from like a 2 to a 6 or something in the range, but still in all, we would still want you lower than that. So you need the reverse T3, and then you have to tell us what the free T3 lab value range is. Okay, Grace, you're taking a zinc supplement. You don't convert, neither do I. So then the zinc, it's probably not the zinc causing your brain fog. It's probably because you're still in a hypo state. If Vitex and saw palmetto is lowering sex drive, does that mean it's actually lowering my testosterone? Well, no, Vitex is great for balancing progesterone. So it's not like you're adding progesterone cream with Vitex. You're actually kind of balancing it out. And then saw palmetto, I've seen it used with women. It's not used often, but it can be. But that shouldn't be lowering your sex drive. So you need basically test, don't guess. Test, don't guess. Get estradiol, progesterone, free and total testosterone, DHEA, which is the precursor to testosterone, and plays a role in adrenals, and also DHT. So get all of those done, and then we'll have something to go by. So you're saying it was high, meaning your testosterone. Well, yeah, they cut the range off at 40 for women, but still, I mean, you're just fine at 50 as long as everything else, is fine. So what are your symptoms? What are your what's the progesterone? What's the estrogen? What's the free? What's the DHT? What's the DHA? So you need some more. Estrogen is sky high. So you're in an estrogen dominant state. So you might actually, do you have PCOS? Do you have PCOS? Is that why your testosterone is high? Are you suffering from acne? Are your periods normal? Are you gaining weight? What's your progesterone level? Is that low? Yeah, all of that comes into play. Mary, like Donna said, you want to get reverse T3 down, free T3 up. High reverse T3 can cause shakiness because you're in a hypo state still. Your free T3 is low, your TSH is still high. So you're still, high according to functional medicine. So yeah, you're still in a hypo state. Definitely, like Donna said, join the Attune Thyroid group. Vicky, you're saying the free T3 range is 3.1 to 6.8. And you were, let me go back here. You were 6.3, which is halfway decent. TSH 0.7 to 3.6. Okay. So you're close to our range. So your free T3 was decent, but I would also say, did you take your medication? Are you on T3 medication and did you take it the morning of your labs? Because that can also send up your free T3. Very important piece of the puzzle for everyone listening. I don't care what your doctor tells you. Do not take your medication the morning of your labs. If you are on a T3 medication, it will artificially raise your free T3 value. And then we could come up with something like this with Vicky, where it's like, well, wait a minute, everything looks fine. The free T3 is, darn near optimal. It's in the upper end of the range. Now, maybe that being said, Vicky, maybe you didn't take your medication. Maybe your optimal is higher. And that is possible. Just like I gave myself as an example, maybe your optimal is higher. So that could be a piece of the puzzle. Always feel free to reach out. We can always work together too, especially if you're still suffering from symptoms. Emma, bad acne and oily skin, had history of insulin resistance, but normal cycle. So I don't know if I have PCOS. So they're actually changing the PCOS name. You don't actually have to have all of the symptoms to be diagnosed with PCOS. In fact, you don't even have to have cysts on your ovaries to be diagnosed with PCOS. So PCOS is usually abnormal periods. Obviously, if you're on birth control, that's going to normalize your periods, but you can still have PCOS. But high testosterone, high insulin, low progesterone, acne, that's definitely PCOS. So yes, to answer your question, yes, you can have PCOS if you still have a regular period. I got period exactly 1 month off the pill after being on it for 8 years. So doc thinks no PCOS. Well, no, we would still treat it. So I would still use Vitex, but I would definitely get your progesterone tested and then definitely get your, get everything tested, everything that I just said, get all of that tested for sure. And let's see, Emma, if you want to reach out to, I have PCOS. Well, have, I don't know. I have regular cycles, and at my age, I celebrate every month that I get one. And it means one less month closer to menopause. But I did have the high insulin, the high testosterone. I used Vitex. I used metformin. I use berberine now to control the insulin. So yes, you can, I still say that I have PCOS because if at any point in time I let things go haywire, they could come back. I mean, I still can feel the cysts on my ovaries every once in a while. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So I hope that helps, Emma. And you can always reach out. Just if you want to jump on a call, you can go to my website and fill out the contact form, and we can definitely jump on a call. Cameo, you're saying, well, hold on. Wait, Vicky, you took your medication. Vicky, are you on T3 medication? Or are you just on Levo? Levo won't affect your labs that much, but T3 will. Okay. And then Dawn is saying to Mary, you have a T4 conversion problem. Definitely. You may need to be on T3 only and investigate and address factors which affect conversion of T4 for sure. Cameo, lately I've been getting bad acne and never had issues with acne in my life. I don't know if it's maskne. Oh, that's a good one. I read it could be my iodine supplement. So Cameo, remember with iodine, you don't want to go too high with that because that can push you into a hypo state. So you might want to back off of the iodine, maybe go every other day, every third day, something like that. We might need to get your iodine levels tested. Yes, it could be wearing a mask if you are wearing it for long periods of time. And then the other thing is it's been a while since we tested your hormones too. So if this continues, and it's not clearing up, if it continues, then we might want to check your hormones. Adding in something like what Emma said, Vitex chasteberry, very, very nice to just add in. That's kind of one of those supplements where it's not really going to do a whole lot of harm. There's not really high progesterone syndrome out there. Rarely see that, if ever or never. So you can add in Vitex, and that's a nice balancer. And sometimes that will really, really help with acne. Also Cameo, I don't know if you saw my interview with Mimi Lindquist, but we were talking about AHCC. You can go back and watch it on Facebook, watch it on the podcast. But she actually talks about kind of a side effect of AHCC is better skin. It ends up clearing up acne. So that might be something that you want to start on too. So if you watch that, there is where to get it. And there's a 10% off code too, even in the podcast notes. Okay, we got to wrap up here soon, guys. I got to take my dog to the vet. So let's see here. Let me try to get maskne as acne from wearing the mask in case you, oh yeah. And luckily I do virtual. I work with people across the US, across the world. I don't have to wear a mask at work, but I really feel bad for you guys who do. I wear it out in public and go to the grocery store and all that. But luckily for work, I don't have to. If I had to wear one 8 hours a day, I'd probably have mask knee too. So we had them tested. You're deficient, but yeah, we need it retested. Oh, beautiful. You're getting it done next week. That's perfect. So stay on the iodine synergy for now, and then let's retest next week. I wouldn't take it. It's kind of like T3. I wouldn't take it like the day before or the morning of, just so we get a nice accurate picture. Okay, Vicky, you're on just Levo. So that won't affect it. So you are at a decent free T3 number, but then again, it comes back to you are a patient. What are your symptoms? How are you feeling? We have to take all of that into account, and you might need a little bit of T3. I mean, it seems like you're converting okay. You're still waiting on the reverse, if I remember. And it might be that you just need like that little teeny tiny, like a 2.5 or 5 of T3 medication just to make you feel better, depending on your symptoms. Again, if you're fatigued, if you're still gaining weight, you're not losing no matter what you're doing, all of that, then that's indicative of you're still in a hypo state, because symptoms don't lie. Yes, they can be tied to other things, but when they're all like bejumbled up like that and it's like screaming hypo, like I'm constipated and I have brain fog and I'm tired and I'm gaining weight. Well, then, if it looks like a duck, right? So that means that we have to look at you as a whole person and take into account your symptoms too. So, okay, guys, got to wrap this up. Thank you for jumping on. I hope this helps. Please share this. Share it on your page, share it on your personal page, share it in your group, because this is important information that people need to know. And you know what? All of your questions too, they help other people. So when you ask questions, maybe somebody's sitting at home going, dang, I was going to ask that question. I was thinking that, but I was too scared to type it in. And your questions absolutely help. So thank you for all your questions too. And that sometimes that triggers me to say something I forgot. So I appreciate it. And I will see you guys this week. Again, go to wherever you get your podcasts and look for The Thyroid Fix and subscribe to it. And then if you dig it, write a review, because they love reviews. Okay. Love you all. Thank you so much. I will, if I missed any of your comments, I will jump back in and grab them and answer them by typing to you. So Vicky, you said I have weight gain, muscle aches, hair loss. Yeah. So see, you're a person, right? You're still hypo. So we got to do something about that. Okay. So feel free to contact me, and I will see you guys next week live, 4 p.m. Take care.